Oh man, we have something really exciting for you guys today. So we have the opportunity to chat with the Brosen. And if you have not heard of them, the Brosen is an amazing podcast for fans of The Chosen who just want to dive deep and go behind the scenes into all the things that have happened filming the show and things that you and I could never know about that show. The average person would never know it, but just amazing stories and insights into the characters and the cast and all sorts of things like that. So I'm excited about this.
Yeah, me too.
So, Brosen, welcome.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, thank you for having us.
What's up? Thanks for having us, man.
You're so welcome.
Yeah, so our audience probably may know, some of you may not, but I think it's great to just begin by introducing yourselves and telling people a little about what you do on the show. So do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Yeah, I'll do a quick intro for everybody, just kind of show you what we do on the show, and then I'll pass it around to the guys. But I'm Adam Drake, and I'm the boss bro because I'm all these guys' bosses. So I tell them what to do, and so I make them show up for the recording of the podcast.
And offset. Yeah,
that's right. For the podcast and for work. So yeah, and I am the first assistant director and co-producer of the show, The Chosen. Been with the show from the very beginning since episode 1. So that's been awesome. But also, so I'll just go by the top corner here, how it's on my box. But then next up, I got my bald bro. We're going to do all B's today. I got my bald bro,
Let's
Mitch.
go. That's me.
Mitch
up,
is
guys?
the second assistant director on the show, handles all the background. I'll let him talk more about that in a second.
Yeah.
But he's also been on the show from the very beginning since the first episode, which is pretty awesome.
Day one.
Yep. And then I got my big old beefy baseball bro. That'd be Ben Stockton. He also on the assistant. He's as you can see, he's working from the office today. You see his backdrop there. He's hard at work.
I need 100 stocks of GameStop shorted. Sorry.
Sorry, he's on the Wall Street floor right now. He's working hard.
Wall Street floor right now.
Yeah, as you can see.
So Ben is Ben also helps us in the background department. Has been an additional AD, assistant director with the background department. So then I've got and Sam does not get a B because Sam is our nepo baby because he's Dallas Jenkins' son. So Sam Jenkins is our nepo baby junior. Dallas Jenkins' son joining us today.
Yes, nepo baby Jenkins. Let's get it all out now for the show.
It will never be enough, Sam.
That's right.
And then we've got Mr. Kyle Rasmussen, which is our substitute bro.
What's
so
up?
he fills in like we don't have Willie today, which is one of our regulars, and sometimes we're missing some of the bros.
Bro.
So he's the substitute bro that comes in.
A designated hitter, bro.
Yeah, designated hitter. That's
comes
right.
off the bench for specific moments where we need him.
That's the first time I've heard that title, so we'll have to talk about that one.
Yeah, substitute, bro. Bro on deck. Kyle.
Bro on deck. I like that better. Let's do that. Yeah, bro on deck.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to pass
great.
it off to Mitch and let him do a little intro to himself, and then the rest of the guys kind of what they do on the show, and yeah, we'll go from there.
No, sounds great. Well, yeah, thanks for the introduction, Adam. Yeah, like Adam said, I'm the second assistant director, which sounds like I have a stutter, but is the actual title. Overseas, they call it a third assistant director, but here we gotta be different. It's called the second in America. But
Assistant to the director? Or...
not assistant to the director, even though sometimes it does function like that on set. You know, if Dallas needs a pen,
you do get coffees for Dallas, yeah.
Yeah, please. Dallas does not drink coffee. We all know this. He drinks hot green tea an hour before lunch, 2 bags and 2 cups with no lid. But regardless, not his assistant.
Wow.
This is true. It is true.
But he's not his assistant.
But not his assistant. That'd be crazy. He needs a pen and a set of sides first thing in the morning within 10 minutes of call. It doesn't matter. But yeah, most of my job is directing the background actors on set. That's it's every second AD's job, but of course on The Chosen we have background actors almost every single day. We are a very extras heavy show, and so I'm often working with them. I think we average somewhere like 50 to 70 background a day basically on the show. So I'm always got my hands full, and that's a lot of fun. I also manage the kind of the rest of the AD department in terms of the other additional second ADs. I like what Ben and Sam and Kyle have all been on the show at times, as well as the PAs on set. I kind of manage that, and more or less that's what I do on the show. So it's a bit of a managerial, but also a lot of getting to work with background, which is fun because it kind of feels like I get to help tell the story a bit, especially in these big scenes where, you know, if Jesus is preaching to a crowd, I get to build that crowd, and get to work with how that is all going to work. And sometimes they're on his side, sometimes they're not, and that's a lot of fun for me. So yeah, that's in a nutshell what I do on the show.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Ben, are you next? Big old beefy baseball boy?
Yeah, I apologize. I'm hoping to
Stockbroker.
speak quietly. Yeah. I'm going to talk very fast because I know there's an echo in here. I worked on all 8 episodes of season 1. It's where I met everybody, thankfully, and started really kind of propelled my film career, season 1. During that season, I was kind of a Swiss Army knife as a PA. I wasn't a key set. I wasn't anything specific. It was more of like, hey, we need you to handle walkies, need to help Mitch with background, need to help Adam, maybe getting tea for a director if I need to, but Mitch has that job. And really taking care of actors, things like that. And then I was not a part of season 2 or season 3, unfortunately, but then coming back for season 4, I was able to be an assistant director to come on and basically help Mitch prepare all the background. Sam was my PA during that as well in Utah. And so our job was to fully process the background, make sure that they're getting dressed, make sure that they're getting dirtied up for their makeup, things like that. And then as Adam and Mitch were like, hey, we have a big temple scene with 200 people, Sam and I would be like, okay, we're bringing them in. And then basically walk 200 people to the set in Utah. So that was kind of season 4 in a nutshell as well. So kind of done a lot of different jobs for the Chosen for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, let's pass it over to Sam.
Yeah, I'm the Nepo baby. So literally coming into the show, kind of on and off season 1, on and off season 2, full-time season 3. I just did whatever Adam and Mitch told me to do, whether it was stand outside for 6 hours and open a gate for people, or bring tea to some director or something like that. But that's, apparently all of our jobs now. But by seasons 3 and 4, I was helping Kyle, and then I was helping Ben process the background. And then by season 5, I became the new Kyle and Ben. And now that's my job to be there for Mitch, be his right-hand guy, and help him get all the background ready, get them to set everything Ben just said. You don't need to hear it again because Nepo baby, But
Sam was quite literally born on the show. Like he was.
Right.
He was.
Yeah.
I think he was in high school for season 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I was 17
He was
years
baby
old
Jesus,
by
actually.
season 1.
He was born
And
as
baby
what was
Jesus.
cool. Yeah, he was baby Jesus. I would love to see that. You just wrapped up.
No,
That'd be great.
I was 17 years old by the time I first got on set. It was my first legit film job. I was terrified. I was so scared
And
of
to
Adam.
Sam's credit,
legitimately,
his mom and dad told me and told Adam. Oh, sorry, I think we lost him because he broke up there. But to Sam's credit, like both Dallas and Amanda Jenkins told me and Adam, like, hey, like just because he's our son, like don't give him special treatment. Like treat him like every other PA. Like make him work hard. And we did. Actually, we treated him way worse
Yes.
than other PAs. Yeah. We had a special point of it. Yeah.
Yeah, Dallas told us both. He said, make it harder on him. Don't make it easy
Make him
for him.
suffer. Yeah.
Mitch, I'm like, all right, we can do that.
Dallas said, make him
I would
suffer. Also, where is my tea?
I would hope that at a certain point, that would change, and you guys would start taking it easier on me. But season
Right.
6, we'll
No.
see.
We'll see.
It hasn't
It's not-
changed yet.
It's not changed. It won't. It won't change anytime
No,
soon.
it won't. All right, let's pass it over to Mr. Kyle.
Yeah, thanks for having us, guys. So I jumped on the Chosen season 2. My wife and I sold our house, moved into an Airstream, and then because of that we were mobile. And it happened to be first day on set was when Snowmageddon hit in season 2 in Texas.
Yeah. Sending them out.
Because of that, we were stuck in the Airstream. And Mitch gave me a call. I was just like a day player, which means you just you step in for one day at the time. He said, "Hey, you still in Texas?" And sure enough, I was because we couldn't leave. So I ended up finishing out the rest of season 2. That led to just building great relationships with a lot of the crew, including these guys as well. And then and one thing I should add too is a lot of us work on a lot of projects outside of the Chosen as well, and have. Which is I think really kind of deepened our relationships together, and so, I went on to projects with Adam and Mitch in like North Carolina and Georgia and different things like that, just working as a production assistant. And then season 3 was invited very honorably back to serve as in the same role that Ben did, for season 3. So just basically processing all the background, getting through the hair, makeup, wardrobe, which is quite a job. You're usually first on set, last off because
It's hard.
yeah, it's just you're dealing with a lot of questions all day long from a lot of people, which is great. So high energy. My wife though is like, hey, if we want a family, this is not the pace of life. So we moved back to Colorado, and that's where I'm at now, and just making life work out here, which is great.
That's right.
Cool.
So
Making
what are
life
some
work
of
out
the
there and
other
making
projects
life. You have children.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Sorry,
what are
what was
some
that,
other
Brandon?
projects you guys have done that people might know? Other projects you've worked on together that people might have seen or heard of?
Sure. So Kyle joined us specifically right after Chosen, and we went and did we did Life Mark with the Kendricks. Mitch and I did Overcomer with the Kendrick brothers. We've talked about it on our podcast, but all three of us too, with Roby, who's been on one of our episodes, did Monster Summer, which was a Mel Gibson movie with Mel Gibson, David Henry,
Bands.
Kevin James.
Yeah.
And then there's been lots of others through there. Mitch, I don't know what else we've been on.
You and I know you and Sam very recently did the best Christmas pageant ever,
Right.
which is currently out, and we've it's interesting. There's not a lot that we've all been on together, but there are a lot
Right.
of projects that we've been
Mhm.
like Ben and I worked on a movie called Samaritan with Sylvester Stallone, and we I worked with Adam. What did we do? Was it we did like a Lifetime movie in Nashville a few years
Oh,
ago.
yeah. Don't
We've
sweat
done
the
a
small
lot
stuff.
of random stuff. Yeah, we've done all kinds of fun projects together.
Right.
Over the years.
Yeah. There's been all kinds, which we talk about on the show, which is great. Like there was
Yeah.
a while where Mitch wasn't available, and I was hiring Ben for some Nashville jobs, and we worked with Dolly Parton and did some other like crazy music videos and fun stuff. So yeah, we're all in the business, right? And we do lots of different
Yeah.
things. And so and it's been a fun ride. And then what's fun is Sam, Ben, and Kyle have all done the same position on The Chosen, as you've learned, which is really fun too.
I love
Yeah.
that. So you have like
Promised
a really
Land too.
strong.
We all kind of helped Mitch with the Promised Land
Yep.
early on.
That's right.
And then
Oh.
he got too popular, and then
Yeah.
now he won't hire us.
And
So
now I won't hire
Yeah.
any of these guys. Yeah, but it's part of how it goes.
kidding.
We should make like the Bromist land. It doesn't work. It
No.
just doesn't work.
The Brahmis land, the Brahmis land.
Promised land. I don't know.
I love that. I can tell you have like a lot of camaraderie from all of your like years working together, and you love to joke and be playful, and you have had us laughing already at the beginning of this podcast. So we're going to start out with a fun little game, and I have titled it "The Brosen Have Spoken." So we're going to
Let's go.
find out some behind the scenes chosen secrets. Excuse me. I'm going to ask you
Okay.
questions to get your honest opinions about what goes on behind the scenes. And
Oh, no.
if any of these questions spark one of your famous set stories, then roll with it and let us have it. We want to know all. Are you ready?
Ready?
Yes.
Let's
Are you ready?
go.
I hope you're
Yeah,
ready.
Are you
'cause here
ready
we go.
for this?
My dad's gonna fire me.
Okay, question number 1. Who is the biggest diva on set?
Now, does that include? Are we talking cast and crew here?
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah, I think
Dallas
all of us
Jenkins.
have the same answer, right, guys? It's
Yeah,
Sam
Dallas.
Jenkins.
We're
Oh,
Sam,
I thought-
right?
I thought it was Sam.
It's one of the
Sam.
Jenkinses. Yeah.
Sam,
Yes.
Sam's the one that's always crying on our shoulders.
Sam
Right,
is definitely the biggest nightmare.
That has happened. That has happened one time. Crying with Adam has happened one time.
That's
always,
debatable.
it's always, hey man, can I talk to you? It's like, gosh.
Here we go.
All right. Give me a
Lies.
second.
And then at the end of the day, I got to pull Dallas aside and go, listen, your son, we're struggling. You need to talk to him. Yeah.
He gets diva
Give
on
him some
set.
green tea.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, you think green tea is bad? Get ready.
Yeah.
Although it's pretty bold words from Adam, Mister I need a Coke Zero, like first up after lunch.
Yeah, I was gonna
Where's my
say.
Celsius? Drinks the first
Whoa,
quarter of any
whoa,
soft
whoa.
drinks we have
I was gonna
on
say.
set.
I've got an
The
ad. Yeah,
text,
so
the Adam
a,
tag.
a usual Adam trope is to call me over the walk and be like, "Hey Sam, bring me a Monster, bring me a Celsius." No matter where I am on set, I gotta go miles and miles and miles to bring him his precious little energy drink. So if we're talking diva, it's Mr. Adam Drake.
I want to bring Dallas on the show now to defend me because I don't think he would agree with any of this.
think it's funny. Dallas, you could make the argument that it could be Dallas, but also it kind of feels fair because he's the director and he's just so focused in that it's like he literally is so zoned in. He needs our help. But I do think about the time that Dallas, I think, had offhandedly said, I'd love to have a Celsius at one point. And one of our interns literally was like, I'm going to get this guy a Celsius, which is an energy drink. We didn't have any. And so this intern placed an Uber Eats order to get Celsius delivered to set. They arrived at they got the address all
we're out in a field. We were out in a field, and he had to, like, the guy pulled up to a gate, like, really far away, and he had to go jump a fence and go meet him at the gate. He spent $25 on 2 Celsiuses because it was Uber Eats out in the middle of nowhere. Go ahead, continue, Mitch.
So this intern literally runs across the field, jumps over the fence, gets the Celsius, jumps back over the fence, runs across the field, brings them to Dallas. It's like, hey, I got you this Celsius. And Dallas is like, oh, cool. And he pops it open and takes a sip, and he's kind of like, pretty good. Throws the rest of it away.
Throws it directly in the trash.
I have thought about that. The look on the intern's face, he just looked.
He was just like,
and then Dallas, one of my all-time favorite moments.
So good. We've never let Dallas live that one down. We're just like, man, you're a horrible human being, Dallas. Like, how dare you? Of course, Dallas had no idea that he went through all that trouble. He thought he just walked over to Crafty and grabbed the Celsius. So Dallas had no idea, but we give him such a hard time about it.
It's so true.
This actually transitions really well to our next question, which is who keeps the energy up on those long film days without the use of the energy drinks?
I feel like Noah James, right?
Without the use of energy drinks. Yeah, it's probably Noah James.
Yeah, check out our Noah James episode. We call him our hype man. He keeps the hype up for sure for the cast.
He plays Andrew.
Noah plays Andrew,
Yeah.
Every single day you have Noah James coming in like, oh, bro, let's get the day done. Come on, man. Let's go. Every day.
Big hype guy. Yeah.
Yeah. He's awesome. Who would be the hype guy on the crew then, I wonder?
It's Willie or
Willie.
Willie's big hype guy. Also, I'd say JP, who does locations. He's always just running around, just building people up, getting everyone amped.
Yeah, so if you guys check out if you guys check out our show, you'll meet Willie. Willie's part of the podcast as well, but couldn't be with us today, and he's definitely another hype man. He's a lot of fun.
Okay.
I think honestly, to your credit, Adam. Now you don't do it without the use of energy drinks because I think the bottle of Celsius says you can't drink more than 3 a day, and I see 3 a lot. But I do think you also set quite a tone of energy on set as well.
Oh, thank you.
Not to compliment you. I usually try not to compliment you on shows like this, but
it's fair
in this instance.
And that's after my 3 or 4 cups of coffee in the morning.
Is there a Galaxy vibe Celsius in your mug there, Adam?
No. This is water.
Oh yeah, right.
This is water.
Yeah.
So does that ever lead to pranks? Like, has there ever been a huge prank played on set? And who did it?
Benji.
Good question.
Benji's got a prank.
Benji, what you got?
Listen, season 1, I was a bit of a menace. And that's because it was easy to be anywhere. I could kind of do whatever I want because as a PA, it was like, hey, if you're locking up this, I'm there all day. So I would say the biggest prank that I ended up pulling was on set, and you could see it in even now, if not even more back in season 1, but we had all kinds of set decoration. And a lot of the set decoration was like peanuts or walnuts or
just beans,
seeds, whatever. Yeah, little beans, like just things that from the wide you can't really tell what it is, but it looks like the marketplace is selling things. So for whatever reason, I just started to get a handful of these things, and I would carry them around, and I would try to drop them into people's pockets. And it became a big thing where Adam and Mitch were like, Ben, you got to get Dallas. You have to get Dallas. And so I don't know. There was a day that I put probably 20, I think it was pistachios, forgive me, pistachios in his back pocket. And he had no idea. And so at the end of the day, he was like, where did these come from? And we were all just like watching this.
Sliding your hand into his back pocket?
No, it literally was just like basically just dropping them in. And to this day,
The best part of that is Dallas still doesn't know who did that until just now when he listens to this. If he listens to this, he will finally know who did that.
He will discover the truth.
Yeah. There's
You heard it here.
Yeah, absolutely. Another game we play that I've gotten in trouble on this one a lot too is Adam's not a fan of this game because it cuts off the number one crucial item on a film set, which is communication. But there's a thing that crew members do where when you turn on a walkie-talkie, your volume, it won't turn it off, but you could turn it all the way down so you think it's off. And so people will be talking to you and you'll be like, I didn't hear you. And then you realize that somebody came up behind you and basically turned off your walkie. That's a fun game to play, but you have to know the days when to play it because if it's a busy day, it's not a fun time.
It's a terrifying game.
So I remember those when we brought Mitch over to Channel 2 and had like the Halloween music play. We thought it was going to be a great one. It was late night. So Sam, you tell the story.
Kyle and I were up
It's
until
like 2
maybe
in the morning.
1 o'clock in the 1 in the morning at one point. Kyle and I are delirious, and we're like, how funny would it be if we brought Mitch to a separate channel and played the Halloween theme song music? And we're like, this is going to be so funny. We're like, okay, Mitch, go to channel 12. And he's like, okay. So he follows us there, and we're blasting music, and we're both like, this isn't funny. Why? This isn't funny.
Well, what you don't realize is that like you have to like have the mic open on our end, so we can't even hear his reaction. We're just blasting this music,
It's
right?
like, okay, great.
And so,
Like, well, yeah.
Good one, guys. I was like, it's June. It's not even close to Halloween. And I'm also working. Good one.
It's funny. It's like the biggest prank fail, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to do pranks because it's a very high pressure like job
Yes.
that you feel nervous even doing stuff like that. You're like,
you're like, is this gonna land?
I mean, there's a reason Ben's not on the show currently. It's because he
Right,
was
all
a
those
prankster,
pranks.
so we couldn't keep hiring him, obviously.
now he's on Wall Street trading
Yeah, now
stocks.
he's on Wall Street.
Yeah.
Ben, didn't you last season make a surprise appearance though?
I did.
Yes.
Which should have chose a different day. So I didn't realize, but I hadn't made it out to set on season 5 at all. And I was like, gosh, I want to come down. I have to come down. And they were filming in Texas. I live in Oklahoma City. Now that probably makes more sense by me saying I want to go down. And all this to say, I was like, I got to drive south, got to see the guys, got to see everybody on set. So I drive down on the last Friday they're filming, not knowing, not going to say any spoilers because season 5 hasn't come out yet, but it is a very massive, very dramatic.
It's my fault.
30,
It's my fault
30
for sure.
cast members are filming. There's 50 backgrounds. It's the night that most of the cast members, 1 through 20 on the call sheet, are rapping. So like everybody's kind of
Like the
pressured.
finale scene.
It's already like 11 o'clock. It's a very dramatic, like very emotional. People are trying to get into it. And so I dressed up. I looked like I was from the Middle East, but I dressed up as a Pharisee and showed up on set and was like hanging out in a little Pharisee costume. And I was just like, Mitch, Adam. And they were like, Ben, what are you doing here? And it was the most like brief of just like, we love you, but we got to go. And I was like, I'm so sorry. So I just like stepped away. And so for the next like 3 hours, it was just me standing with my pockets like, all right. Chose a great time to come visit everybody. I see.
I was just going to do one more question.
Yeah.
And it ties into, so you said high pressure, right? So high pressure set, who forgets their lines the most?
Ooh. Who forgets their lines?
I mean, I'll preface it with he has the most lines out of everybody, and so I would say it's Jonathan, but rightfully so, not his fault at all because he has quadruple the amount of lines that everyone else does. We just talked about this in our last episode. This past season, season 5, he had a 17-page scene. There was 17 pages in one scene, and 85% of that was his dialogue. I mean, it was
That's 17
insanity.
minutes of speaking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and him talking
Like doing
almost
a
the
one-act
entire
play.
time. So
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well,
But,
it's kind of like, imagine, you know how people are always like, oh, you know what's really good for you, like spiritually, is to like memorize scripture. And you know how hard that is? Like, you're like, oh man, I would love to like memorize, like, let's say like a couple of verses, right? Just like have them memorized, right? He's not only memorizing paragraphs of Bible verses, but also then acting them. You know what I mean? Like trying to give them the like weight that is deserved of portraying Jesus in front of the entire world who's watching this show.
Yeah.
And so there are times where he'll like, miss a line or whatever, and it's like, well, in fairness, I don't know anyone else who has these down. You know what I mean? I
think that's why he's probably jumped on with the Hallowed app, is just like to keep him in like the script,
That's right. Memorizing even when he's not on set. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that is a wrap on our game. The Brosen have spoken, and I hope you all learned a little bit of those behind the scenes chosen secrets. So thank you for sharing those with us, you guys.
Of course.
You're welcome.
Fun games. We should do more games on our show.
All right, so now we want to dive into something I know I'm curious about. So, our channel is all about helping people go beyond the words of Scripture and really be able to kind of feel like they are in the world of the Bible and seeing it like it was back then. And that's what you guys do. You try to bring the Bible to life. So this is a huge question, but what's it like trying to bring the Bible to life?
I mean, my first response is challenging. Obviously, taking it back to the first century and still trying to keep that when we're shooting with very modern gear, right? Like we're doing like these big sweeping jib shots and high production value things, but we're taking it back to the very first century. It's quite difficult to find that balance. And I think that's what Dallas has done a beautiful job of keeping the show raw and authentic and feels very real and intimate, even though obviously we're in 2024 and there's it's much more modern. So I think that's what Dallas has done a great job of course. And then our job is all the logistics of that, but Dallas has done a great job creatively to bring that in.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's certainly, I would also agree that it's challenging. I think it's one of those things where I think because we are bringing the Bible to life, we want to make sure we're getting it right, because it's not like, I mean, think about the Star Wars fans when you're making a new Star Wars project, right? They'll jump all over it. They'll talk about every little detail about all of it, right? And that's Star Wars. Like, this is literally the foundational scripture that is the center point of our religion, of our faith, right? And so I think there's the same level of, and if not more, kind of scrutiny on what we're making. I think it's released a teaser from season 5 not that long ago, and there's already people with all kinds of different commentaries on just one scene, right? One scene from an 8-episode season of television. They're all going to be dissected and talked about. So I think it's high. It has that high pressure of like, you want to get it right. And of course, we're not the ones who are writing and directing this show. That's Dallas. But I think even with just our roles of the logistical process of the show, we want to make sure that there's nothing standing in the way of making the show as good as it can be. And I think that certainly is a big part of Adam's job of like, all right, well, if a day is not scheduled right, it means that the scene that needs to be important to the show may not have the time it needs to be done properly, right? Like, that's a huge part of what Adam does. And then for me, it's like, well, it needs to feel authentic with the people around it and with, all these things going on. I need to make sure they're ready with all the guys processing the background too, with Sam and Kyle and Ben. It's like, yeah, if we don't, if the scene is about Jesus preaching in a marketplace and there's no one there, no one's going to believe this scene, right? Yeah. So it's like, all right, just trying to make it feel real so that we can kind of, the more we do our job, the more invisible we are, and that means you're focusing on the important stuff, which is Jesus. So, yeah.
And I would, just to add to that and kind of piggyback, I would think even season 1 was almost the most challenging in the sense of trying to capture that spirit and trying to kind of build up the world of things like that, because especially season 1, we were limited to Texas and this little village that they built for like nativity scenes and Christmas time and things like that. And I remember even, as a production assistant, just thinking like, how in the world would pull this off? How in the world is production to pull this off? And was astounded by just the fact that you put background in some roads, you put background in some roads, in some,
I wish.
And then you get them dirtied up in the way that we were able to double. And you shoot it well enough that it's one of those things that you could just play with the camera that only shows certain trees and only shows certain items. That it's like, okay, this is believable. This really looks like, when you're watching it, like this looks like it could have happened 1,000 years ago. So I think art department is honestly a lot to credit that for sure in helping build that world and really making it believable that it's like, okay, this is potentially what it actually looked like back then.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things you guys get to do is you get to, I would imagine, interact with these extras and people who are coming, many of whom, as far as I know, are often just fans of the show who show up and want to be a part of this. And so can you share a little bit of what's that like? I mean, maybe even some of our viewers right now who've been on set before and been able to be an extra in the show. What is it like kind of getting to interact and seeing people who are entering into this world of the Bible and experiencing this on the inside?
Oh man, that has been, yeah,
Hmm.
that has been, and each one of these guys can speak into this because they all work with background.
Mhm.
But The Chosen is so unique with our fans that the experience from the first time we basically did a Sermon on the Mount has been so much fun because they come in with so much energy and they're so excited to be a part of this that it makes our job so much more fun and enjoyable. Because I know Mitch can talk into this, but he's worked on like other shows like Guardians of the Galaxy and things like that, where you're working with paid background who do it every day. And that's more just like a job, like you're just doing it every day. But the people that are coming on The Chosen are so excited to be there and so grateful that it makes us have so much more fun with them too. Mitch, I'll let Mitch talk because he has so much fun with the background every day on set. But I remember the first time we did it was Sermon on the Mount. And Sermon on the Mount was, I don't know, it was like 25 degrees. It was horrible. It was absolutely freezing. I had on like 5 layers. I don't like the cold either. I had on like 5 layers and I was miserable at the end of the day. I just wanted to go home and sit in front of a heater. And all the background were out there in sandals and these little, tunics. And I had at least 25 of them or 30 of them come up to me at the end of the day and go, "This was one of the best days of my life. Wow. This was so much fun. It was so amazing." And I was like, "What's wrong with you? This day was terrible. It's cold. I don't want to be here. What is wrong with you?" But it made me appreciate what I do and what we do so much more because the fans are so in tune. It makes us love our jobs.
Yeah, and you've been on both sides of it too, right? Because you had the frigid, and then what was it the next year? It's like 115 degrees or something.
Feeding the 5,000 was the exact opposite. Yep,
Fried fives. Yeah.
Yep. We called it the fried five and the frozen.
Yeah.
What was it? The frozen
chosen.
Frozen chosen, and the fried five.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Yeah. It's wild. No, it's definitely something special. Like our fans are very different. They are, I think, it's so, we have Chosen Con now, which happens like annually, and it's so fun. It's just been growing and blossoming basically every year. And I think that's where I really get kind of blown away. I mean, obviously I experience it when it's on set, but I think on set you're so sort of focused that you can only have sort of moments of clarity of being like, wow, look at this. You know what I mean? But when you go to something like Chosen Con, you're like, man, a lot of these people have also come out and been on set because to them, this is more than a show. It's also a community. It's an experience. And it's kind of something that is as much theirs as it is ours. Even though we are on set every day, they might not be on set with us every day. Some of them are. But they are, championing the show. They're supporting it. They're talking about it. They're getting the word out there. It's definitely a unique deal of being like, yeah, I mean, like Adam said, the difference between just a regular paid background who's there because it happened to be the one that called them to come and work versus, the person who's there because they saved up for a couple months to buy the plane tickets to fly out here with their family and get dressed and do all that, both are equally important to us. But of course, one is just going to bring so much hype that I do think it makes every day more fun. I mean, you talk about the biggest, who brings the most energy every day without energy drinks. Most of the time it's the background, honestly.
Yeah,
because they come in and they're just like,
that's right.
Ready. There's a lady who goes to our church here in Atlanta who started coming because she heard that my wife and I went to this church, and it's funny to see her like, every Sunday she's got her Chosen garb on and she's just like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "These are my people."
Yeah, I think so. Sam, Ben, and I have a unique perspective on background because we're checking them in early, and we get a lot of intimate time with them. Honestly, which is I think back to my memories on The Chosen, and those are the immediate ones that stand out. It's not like, I mean, being on set is amazing, all those things, but I can truly tell you, it's like you're getting in at like 3 a.m. and the first background walks in the door. They know your name. There was 2 guys religiously gave us an energy drink
Yeah,
walk in the
brothers.
door. They just knew
Hogue
the Hogue
brothers,
brothers. Yeah. But you get to know these folks so well, and they get to know you. I mean, at the end at Wrap, they're bringing you gifts. They're like, it's like this family. It's very special. Mitch was sharing kind of a unique story. The one that came to my mind around a background actor during the Feeding the 5,000. It's actually a guy I know here in Fort Collins, Colorado. He's now passed, but he had terminal cancer, and his like dying wish was literally to be on The Chosen. And this guy, you probably can't find him in this crowd, but it was like it was so special to him that he could be a part of this. I mean, he prepped to his costume for like 3 months in advance, and he would wear it around Fort
That's
Collins.
awesome.
Oh,
Like
that's
just
so
because
sweet.
So cool.
he wanted to like
Yeah.
promote this and talk about this. But
That's awesome.
yeah, he said if this is the last thing I can do before I die, then I'm happy. So it was really special. And that was actually you remember AJ? He worked on
That was
he came out
AJ?
for no, it wasn't AJ.
Oh,
It was
okay. I was
AJ's
like, AJ
uncle.
passed away. Okay, gotcha.
AJ's
Um,
uncle.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Man, that's awesome.
anyway, I mean, to kind of wrap that point, I mean, Sam and Ben could speak to that too, but it's I working with the background is probably one of the most special things, just because of their energy and what they bring to it, and like Adam said, it just really makes you appreciate the show at a whole new level.
Yep.
Yeah, and I got to
Yeah, it's-
go to Chosen Con this year and got to experience that fandom like firsthand. And this is the first time I went. And I think what really stood out to me is I almost feel like the word fan is a bit of a misnomer, because it wasn't just like, oh, we love this show like we love any other show. It's deeper than that. Like for people, this show was an instrumental part of my spiritual growth. It opened the door to something I could never experience before. And the show is not the gospel. And we talk about this all the time. Like Dallas says this, I talk about this in the book that I'm writing. Like it's not the gospel, but it brings you into the gospel in a unique way that other things can't. And so I just think how amazing it is, like that you all get to be a part of that. We kind of laugh, and there's all great stories of what you guys do, but like, in the end, it is literally transforming people's lives. And how cool it is to get to see that, to talk to you guys about that. And so I just want to say to our audience, if you've enjoyed this conversation so far, if you've loved just some of the stories you're hearing from the Brosen and just want that inside look into what it's like behind the scenes to put together this show that is changing lives, and maybe it's changed your life, and you now have a whole different kind of relationship with Jesus than you did before, and you're growing spiritually, and it's because of the work that's been put into this. Because one of the things I know about these guys, I mean, we prayed before we even started this podcast. Like, this is something that is very much about spreading the gospel and driving people to Jesus. It's not about growing a show. It's not about growing its own kingdom. It's about growing God's kingdom. And so I really want to encourage you to go check out the Brosen, watch their videos and check out their podcasts and hear their stories, and just allow yourself to kind of immerse and hear even more. So Adam, would you take a moment real quick, tell people how they can watch you guys and give them all the details of that?
Yeah, I'd love to. So we're on YouTube as well with you guys. So YouTube is kind of our main thing where a lot of people watch us, because we do a lot of visual stuff too. We like to throw stuff up on the screen, and we'll throw scenes from The Chosen up on the screen as we talk about it. So YouTube's a great platform, but we're on all the audio platforms as well. So we're on Apple Podcast and Spotify and all that. So we're pretty much on everything out there that you can find. So yeah, just come support us, comment, like, all the things to kind of support would be great. And we'd love to have you guys over. Thanks for having us, Brandon.
So welcome. I want to officially say that we have chosen the Brosen.
Oh,
So we want our audience to do the same. So we're going to send our audience right over after this video. We're going to send them over to the Brosen channel. And everyone, if you can watch an episode of the Brosen, and I want you to type in the comments, Brandon Robbins sent me. And that way we can share with the Brosen some love and where you found them through. So
Well, thank you guys so much.
Thank you guys
for your time today. I know you all are busy, and we really appreciate the time you've given us to just chat and get to know a little bit more about you and what you guys do.
Thank you guys so much.
Appreciate
you.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
fun.
We appreciate it. Thank you, guys.